Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Legends of Arcadia. Our party is at the mouth of the valley. You can finally get back to your house after saying goodbye to the ogres and come round. And who should be sitting in your home other than the god of chaos himself, munching on some sort of cracker-based thing with other things in it? It's some sort of weird Malchus snack he's nomming on, and it gives
Do
you
you
a
live
wave.
here now?
My son, I am at one with everything. No, I don't live here. I just, come by to say hello. You were gone for a little while. Did you get the stick?
Yeah, I got the stick. I still have the stick.
What'd you think of the sand golem, huh? The sand monster? Sand man.
I didn't see much of it. I shot some lights at it. No, I stunned it and ran away.
Couldn't be prouder. I put so much work into building that thing and you didn't even fight it? That's such a mess. Oh, well done. Well done. You really earned that. Great. Your leader? He's not really. He should be your leader, but he's not. Has gotten himself into no end of trouble while you've been out around doing this nonsense. What else can I do for you, Mr. Kael, Mr. Defender of the Valley?
Do you mean Abaddon?
I mean Abaddon, yeah. I know he's not your leader. I mean, he's your cleric, and clerics are supposed to be your leader, but I know he's been far and away not actually holding up his leadership skills or jobs whatsoever. I mean, talk about a man with no plan. Talk about a man with no idea of what he's trying to do in life. Ugh. We gotta whip that boy into shape. Can you help me make him into a better leader?
I mean, I've read some books on leadership. I could,
Yeah, maybe you're not the right. You know what? I'll ask Nyx. She'll find a way to motivate him turn him into something worthwhile.
Maybe also Manfred would be of help. Manfred has to, Manfred's the one who interacts with all the students. So he's the one with more knowledge about how to wrangle those little munchkins together.
Yeah, I feel like he needs, motivation of the heart, not of the mind. He seems lost without clear direction in the world. You've got direction. I mean, it's a stupid direction. Wanting to go back to a university that you've sort of been to, but not really. But you've got direction. You've got focus. You've got desire. It's appreciated. How can I help you fulfill your desires?
Well, before that, is Abaddon, is he dead? You mentioned trouble. Is he alive? Is he doing okay?
He's alive. He's
still intact.
I wouldn't say he's doing good.
Is he dying?
No.
Is he gonna make it back here on his own?
Maybe. We'll see. Let's just say the body count has stacked.
Right. That halfling, that was him, right?
I don't think you need confirmation from me on that one. Let me keep some secrets here and there. Give me plausible deniability. But, I mean, who else would I can't.
Well, I guess serial killers are a part of the valley as well. I could always study him. Probably need to make sure he doesn't know that I'm studying him, though.
Yeah. Well, throw him a bone when you can. It'll be good for him.
Right. Oh, speaking of helping me, do you know how to make a sail?
Like for a boat?
I was going to attach it to myself, like a boat, but smaller.
You mean for yourself?
Yes.
Like you could jump off a mountain and sail somewhere.
Like I could levitate myself and then use it to move in a horizontal direction.
Well, I made a guy. His name is his name is Mr. Murdoch. Let me tell you, he's this wizard I made. He's kind of like eccentric and weird. He lives up in the mountains. He does all these like weird bodily transformation things. He's got this spell where you like grow skin between your elbow and your hip, and so you like grow sails upon yourself, and he uses it to dive off the mountains and like sail and glide around. His name's Murdoch. Great guy.
Well, I suppose that's similar.
No. How about
Not quite what I was going for. I was thinking about the ability to move around while levitating. Although
You mean you want to fly? You know, that power's out there. It's available.
Yes. Although I have some other ideas in the short term.
Sits.
I think getting full flight is a bit of a ways away. How? So I'm quite versed with water. Air's a little bit different for me. Do you understand how it works?
Air?
How I could make somebody catch gusts of wind, amplify their effects? I was going to ask you to make a sail so that I'd have a physical demonstration.
Well, we can make sails out of bed sheets. That shit's pretty easy to do, you know? But you're looking for the better concepts of air? I mean, you don't know what you're looking for either. You're all the same.
No, it's still gestating in my brain. So, could you just make a big sail outside? Just like a mast stuck in the ground with a sail on it.
Yeah, let's go. And he hops off the table, puts an arm around you. I think, how tall? You're taller than him? He's only 5'8", I think.
Actually, I don't remember. Am I short or tall? Let me check my character sheet really fast. I am 6'2", so I'm really tall.
Oh yeah, so he like puts a hand up onto your shoulder and pats you on the back. The god of chaos, much smaller than you, and he walks around outside of the house, and there is a tree that certainly wasn't growing there before, and some of the branches have been stripped and had cloth attached to them, making a sail attached to a tree.
All right. I'm going to keep an eye on this for a bit. I want to look at the different ways that it catches the wind and how that exerts force, right? I'm looking at how anybody can make a sail that catches the wind. I'm looking at how it affects directionality, right? If you were to move the sail at all, if you were to change its positioning, how does this affect the way that it pushes or pulls or changes how force is applied?
Yeah, it quickly becomes
a tree because I can see it in the branches in terms of how they're
it quickly becomes apparent that to properly operate a sail in order to catch the wind in the right way, you're going to need guide wires or pulleys or some sort of mechanism on all four corners of the sail, plus spots on the middle for extra stability, and that you'd want to be able to roll it up pretty quickly. So you're going to need a whole series of things over here to roll it up easily. So it's going to be, no less than 12 ropes attached to a single sail, which would probably take, minimum of 5 people at a time to operate. Otherwise you might catch the wind improperly and it would rip off in high wind situations.
Okay. So I think what I'm gonna sort of visualizing this concept, I think Kael is going to create the idea of creating a spectral mast, right? With magical threads that push and pull on it. And at some point, I am gonna level up this session, right? I'm very, very close, so we can handle spelling. Okay. So with a when somebody walks by, one of the villagers in the area, I'm gonna attempt to cast the spell on them without them knowing, and it's gonna attach this mast to their back. And the threads of this spell are gonna make it push and pull in such a way that the sail is constantly catching the wind and dragging them along. And I'll just send you this description of what this spell does.
Excellent.
And then we can figure that out. And there's 100% chance for me to learn this, so we don't even have to worry about failure here. I see this as a potential disarming tool, if that helps with what I'm thinking of.
Must be less than 100 pounds per level of the caster. All of it only cast on living creatures. Handful of straw, dry leaf. We're looking at a 2nd level kite spell.
Ride the Wind is the name.
Ride the Wind.
Yes. So when I cast this, does this person get like picked up off the ground and like helplessly float away?
That appears to be the case.
All right.
I see. You actually just copied and pasted. I thought you were creating a new spell. You are.
No. I copy pasted the description.
Okay. I'm like, wow, this is a really well and interestingly thought out spell, Sean.
Yeah, no, I'm not making them yet.
Okay.
That's maybe when I get to 3rd level spells, we'll start looking into that.
Yep. Easy to do.
Right.
You can inspect it. You can work with it. And I think with the, Malchus here helping you build these things, you can easily learn this.
Right.
And as long as we're getting to the point where you're learning 2nd level spells, why don't you roll us some hit dice for hit points?
Oh, yeah. Let's see how that goes. So I roll a d6 plus 2. Hey, not bad. Little below average, but not much.
Only a half a point.
Yeah. That gives me... Where is HP listed on this sheet?
Combat pad.
Combat.
Tab.
Okay, I now have 16 HP.
Love it.
Okay. So with that is Ride the Wind. As I make a poor random villager just helplessly float away, maybe catching themselves on a building eventually and like waiting for half an hour for the spell to end. Yeah.
All right. It works. Malchus loves that you grabbed some random villager and floated them away. He seems completely unconcerned for the villagers' well-being and hugely tickled that you've got this spell that's like dragging people off into the distance.
Okay. I have one that's maybe a little bit more fucked up to do on an unwilling participant. I ask if magic works on Malchus.
Well, I mean, I'm a magical man, Of course it works on me, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it.
So I could like cast a spell on you and we could test its effects. I could do this on a villager. This one's a little bit more fucked up to do to a person who's not a willing participant. Like the glider's good fun, but I might like really piss somebody off and I have to work with these people.
Well, you see, casting spells on me is a little bit awkward because, like, I can just dispel them the moment I'm not interested or turn them around on you. I'm not really excited to be your test subject here.
Okay.
It's you'll get varied results. My internal magic resistance is pretty high. You might need someone who's a little easier to enspell.
Well, I was gonna use it on Abaddon, but he's not around still.
Well, this is what we have halflings for.
Are there any halflings nearby?
Yeah. Points up the valley. I got a whole bunch of farms.
All right. We're going. Do you have a way that I could like see through the halfling's eyes? I want to verify that this is working.
He's looking at you with some curiosity. You want to see through the eyes of the halfling?
I want to make sure that the spell is doing what I think it's going to do. I'm using a little bit of Nyx's philosophy here.
Well, I could pluck out one of the halfling's eyes and pluck out one of your eyes, but the halfling's eye in your skull, and then you would be able to see what he's seeing.
Never mind. We'll just have to hope.
Okay. Because then you could always see what he's up to. You could have one eye is his vision and one eye is your vision. Then you can close your eye and see yourself, and then you could close the other eye and you could see from the halfling.
Yeah, that's more permanent than I was thinking of. All right. At some point, I'm gonna find a way to stealth around and secretly cast a spell on a halfling.
Well, the halflings have little farms and villages, and they're fairly ordinary, predictable folk. When the sun begins to go down, they get out of their fields, they clean themselves up, they go like sit and have tea or a pint or something with their friends. They curl up early in bed. They get up early in the morning. They're, happy, wholesome, good folk. A little bland, a little boring.
Good test subjects, and they taste like chicken, I hear.
They are great test subjects.
I got the blessing of Malchus to do this. Like, I see no crime.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to, from hiding, cast a spell on this halfling. So I'm taking a little bit of like Nyx's philosophy here and her process of like creating fears and nightmares to like alter people's perceptions of the world. And I'm going to charm this halfling. And his perception is going to start to alter. And if you were to like look at his hands, he would see like blood dripping out of his fingertips, and he'd find he's like unable to swallow, and like his saliva keeps pouring out of his mouth. He's like crying and he can't stop. And he's like from like just all around his body, he knows it's like he's just losing liquids very, very quickly. And a sudden urge should like come onto him to like, I need to get more water before I run out, right? And this person, this poor halfling is just presumably going to run around desperately trying to drink any potable liquids it can find.
All right.
Never finding enough, because the more that he drinks, the faster he begins to leak.
Oh my god. It's a terrible curse to place upon a person.
Yeah.
Well, halfling saving throw is not a 15. It is higher than that, so the halfling will be in spell. How far away can you cast this?
15 yards, so I can find like a bit of a hiding spot. I'll maybe ask Malchus to tune it up a little bit. Maybe make me invisible.
Yeah, he'll make you invisible for this. That sounds pretty chaotic. But he's going to ask you not to use any old halfling test subject. If I'm going to make you invisible for this, you gotta... I need you to do this to on a specific halfling. They're holding a town hall meeting about how best to divide this extra... some halflings... they die from time to time. One of them recently died, and his plot of land is, you don't really care about the specifics, but his plot of land is being turned over to the whole community, and the whole community is going to vote and hold a meeting and blah, blah, blah. And the head halfling's a fucking asshole. All right. I had set up a little totem, put my face on it, kind of near their village. Here I am making the valley, giving them the valley, giving you the valley. And they said that chaos isn't what they want. They want stability, so they cut down the totem and threw it away. And I want you to do this on the guy who did that, because he's a fucking dick. I gave him the valley, and he's getting rid of my totem? Can you believe that?
Actually. Plus, if we do it at the meeting, there will be plenty of witnesses, so I can come later and make sure that things were working the way that I expected.
Great. Getting rid of my totem. It was just a totem. It didn't do anything. It just sat there and was like, just a little honorific. But no, they just didn't want, if there's too much chaos, the fields might dry or they might flood. We don't want chaos near our farms. We want stability. You know how many people like my brother more than me? Eat it.
Who's your brother again? Which one?
Astaire, god of law and order. Such a dick. They think I'm rude. Sure, maybe I might flood their fields or, so do something terrible to them. But that's better than just like you're going to farm every day for the 150 years of your life and then you're going to die and there's nothing going to be... And he just kind of goes off on this like bitter, like a, middle child rant about how his older brother's stupid. It sounds very petty.
Well, either way, he's getting me what I want, so I will. I'll take his invisibility and cast it on the halfling he wants me to target.
All right. Yep, he'll make you invisible, send you into this town meeting where all the halflings have gathered, and the building's a little bit small, so you'll have to squat or crouch your way in there, and they have a meeting. Do you need to touch, or can you do it from range?
15 yards, so 45 feet. So probably from anywhere in the room, I would guess, or maybe most places in the room.
Well, that's plenty of room. You can throw it down on the dude. He fails his saving throw, and is talking like motions for one of the other halflings nearby to bring him a drink, and he takes the water and he gulps it and just like. More water. And the other halflings bring him some glasses, but even before then, he lunges across the table to grab a glass of water, and the whole meeting's disrupted as everyone stops and watches him going from glass to glass on the table, gulping everyone's water down.
Yeah, he'll do that for 3 minutes, and I don't think he can satiate himself. He might feel a little shitty afterwards too, because he'll have drank a lot of water. He didn't actually lose any.
Yeah. The whole meeting is disrupted. All the other halflings are watching in some sort of shock and horror at what is going on. And then the spell wears off and he finds himself like filled with more water than he could possibly manage, and just like turns and begins to projectile vomit the water back up as he's like, taking 2 liters into his tiny little halfling body, and it's more than he can manage.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to go and pick that one as a success. Insatiable thirst.
Well, that is a success.
There's my water. There's my one and only water spell for 2nd level.
Wow.
That's fine. I get 3 elements, so those are free. All right. So for my 3rd one, I've got 2 ideas, but I need to test. So one thing I'm curious about, Neal, with the sail concept, right? That was kind of like spectrally charged when I made it. Does it seem like the kind of thing that could be operated by a single person if you were to scale it way down to be like person-sized?
Ooh.
Like if you were to attach a real physical sail to one person, could it be potentially just like individual operated?
I suppose. I guess it depends on what you mean by individually operated. Can you give me some more context?
So like, let's suppose I were thinking about learning levitation. And I wanted to be able to attach a sail to myself so that I could sail around while levitated.
Yeah, that sounds like Murdoch's feathery flyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, there's another spell for that. We'll save it for that.
Yeah, yeah. That's Malchus's buddy in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a 1st level spell, though.
Yeah, the 2nd level one is a little better. And then I also have Ride the Wind, which is very similar to Murdoch's Feathery Flyer, and it lasts the same amount of time.
Ooh, that's just a better version then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a little less control because you just kind of go along with the wind currents, whereas the flyer I think would give you a little bit more control.
Oh yeah, because the flyer you control your direction. You
a little bit.
follow
Yeah,
style.
You're still at the mercy of winds, but like Ride the Wind's main downside that you can't use it in without windy conditions is fine because we're in a valley, so there's constantly going to be wind.
Yeah, so Murdoch Feathery Flyer is you fall slowly and you can direct your fall, essentially.
Yes.
The wind won't really blow you this way or that, but your range is limited by how far you can go. So you need if you link that with levitation, you can like ride the wind or fly and then levitate up and then fly and levitate up. Something like that.
Okay. Well, maybe instead we can do, so there's one other idea here. I don't know if I really care about this one. Ooh. That's pretty neat, but I'll have to be higher level before it's useful. Okay, I think instead we're going to roll for a different thing. And taking the concept of levitation that he eventually abandons. Yeah, I think Kael is going to take the concept of like altering wind currents and creating like an upward projecting wind current that would hold an object in the air. And then he's going to have that object take on a physical form, and he's going to attempt to learn Tensor's floating disc, which he actually has to roll for. I get it. All right.
Excellent.
He picks up Tensor's floating disc, like a sort of, I guess, pinkish glowing disc shows up in the air, and there's like a light wind current that holds it in place, and then I guess he'll just kind of jump on it and cruise around on the disc.
Cool. Yeah, you can cruise on the disc.
And those are my 3 spells.
All right. Excellent. Are there any other spells beyond that you would like to learn? Because did you get 3 when you went from 1st to 2nd level?
Yeah, it's take 1 or roll for 3 was the rule that we were doing. So I've taken 3 now. So I don't think I have any more slots. I could do spell research, but I don't know how we're going to rule that.
Well, I think we can kind of rule it in this similar capacity too. I think we can go beyond the initial 3 spells that you would normally learn, because that's kind of like, what you can do off screen in between sessions. But if you want to spend your spring learning spells, we can delve deeper into it. We can get more. We can outlist you with anything you need. This is your opportunity.
Okay, let's I've got one that didn't quite make the cut, but we'll give it a chance now. Kael is going to, like, I think at one point he's walking through town, right? And there's like a rotten egg or some other rotten food that just like has an immediate visceral impact on him. He's like, ugh. And then he like thinks, I can make use of that. And he's going to take that rotten egg and he's going to look into making its like stench explode.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm going to, I guess, get it because it's a free, it's 100%. So I learned Stinking Cloud.
Excellent.
Which takes a
100%
rotten egg to
chance?
cast. Yes. Anything elemental, I can't take fire, but any other elemental tree I get because it's plus 15 for air and earth.
And then you have your
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's even more for water, so it's 110.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's guaranteed for any elemental spell. So I learned Stinking Cloud.
Mm-hmm. All right, Stinking Cloud it is. Excellent. Add it to the list.
All right.
So this has probably taken a while. I don't know how long it is per day.
Or he's trying to catch up to Abaddon.
I think we'll probably go well past him at this point.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but we've got a whole spring to kill, so I'm just trying to see if anyone wants to do anything too fun so we can get through here.
Yeah,
here,
I think we're getting
here.
close to the end of what I had planned out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here, so we still have about a month and a half of time. You've gotten the spells that you seem interested in. Malchus has sort of vanished after the halfling thing. Other stuff to do. In the meantime, Womator, God of Joy, has arrived. Nerul, Goddess of Hearth and Homes, arrived. Ephra, Goddess of Inspiration, has arrived. All these gods are showing up, and very few gods are leaving these days. Mathis and Safi, gods of knowledge and wisdom, make themselves known, make themselves appear in the world. Quanteris not quite here yet. Terran, excellent. So it is during one of your rotten egg attempts that Manfred shows back up at your domicile here at the end of the valley. He comes bearing a truckload of supplies. He's got some inks. He's got some papers. He's got some
Did he bring me a new watercolor kit?
Yes, he brings you a new watercolor kit. And he hauls all this stuff coming down the valley, huffing and puffing.
I'll make a Tensor's floating disc for him to help him lighten the load. I'll say, Manfred, you're a lifesaver. And I like probably take the watercolor kit to carry myself just to complete as we walk back to the house.
And he puffs and drops all the stuff and says, they asked me to clear out your room at the university. So I brought all your stuff.
What?
I said you wouldn't need it while you're in sabbatical? And that someone else needed the room while you were gone.
Manfred, who needed the room?
The woman's name who's I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. You know, the one who might be taking over if your sabbatical doesn't go well or it goes really well?
I think my eye twitches. I start grinding my teeth.
Is there a problem, my lord? I said you wouldn't mind, that you would probably rather have the stuff on hand than back at your apartment.
No, there's no problem at all.
Oh,
Let's get inside.
Right. He'll come inside, set up your stuff, and tell you that the university, is really experiencing this time of growth. There's all these new students that have arrived from Acropolis, and even a couple have traveled all the way from Hearthhome, their parents sending them off. And there's been this new grant approved by some of the well-to-do people in Hearthhome who are sending their students here and their children here, and they've like come with substantial amounts of gold. And that there's like new wings under construction via these dwarven. This group of dwarves that live nearby that need to fund their own tunnels that they want to dig, but first they're gonna build something. The university's got a whole new tower being built, a little up into the mountains, some sort of observatory post. It's quite amazing. I thought you would be interested.
Sounds wonderful.
How goes the mapping of the forest? Surely you'll not worried about losing your place, your tenure.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. How the map? Right, the mapping. Yes, I just spent a month with the ogres actually. Quite an enlightening bout, and I show him the journal with all my notes.
Wow. He looks at it.
Not enough, but it's a good bit of progress. At some point, I think we're gonna have to go deeper into the forest. It's rather dangerous, but it's going to give me the best material. I've heard something about restless spirits that deep in. This could be something that really breaks new ground for the university. Something they haven't really studied before. So I think at some point we're gonna have to make that trek.
Oh, I'm sure Hegela's got nothing on that. You'll be fine.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm the better professor, I'm the better philosopher. Hegela has nothing on me.
Right, of course. Awkward silence ensues for a little while. Well then. I think Manfred tells you about the thing, all the other gods have showed up, you've gotten your spells. Is there anything else you want to do with your spring? Is there anything else we want to delve into? Is your adventure with the ogres sort of like the pinnacle? What if everyone else is going to take the rest of the spring? What should we say Kael is doing during that time?
I'm going to use that time to go out into the valley. The valley is the easy part, right? Like I can study the valley and collect things about all the plants and animals. That's the less interesting stuff, but I need it for completeness. So I think like after doing the spell learning, I'm going to spend the rest of the time, like I'll go over to Acropolis and I'll head out into like the sort of exterior, like the mountain ranges. I'll look and see if I can find like a path up the mountains, because I know there were those flowers that we were going to be paid for if we could collect them. And if I can find something like that, I'll take them and then I'll ride the wind my way back down.
Sure. Yeah, why don't you give me a strength and constitution check, see how your adventure through the mountains goes, see if you can pick up anything while you're there.
Those. So do you want separate checks or average them?
Separate, please.
Okay, so my strength is only 11, my con is 17. Okay. So d20 plus 11. I failed the strength check, but I failed the con. I do not find a way up the mountains.
Yeah, mountain journey is a little bit too hectic. You will be approached by the workers, the ones that had built that bridge for you. They have been spending the spring building a wall across the exit of the valley. I guess they kind of work near you and you see them on a frequent basis. Is there anything you'd like to instruct them about their wall, or anything else you'd like them to do?
Yeah, I'll take some time to inspect it. I can make a quick engineering check to see if there's any obvious like deficiencies that they should patch up.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an engineering check.
Plus, is it -2 or -3 for engineering? -3, so 15. All right. Yeah, I inspect the hell out of that wall.
It does appear the weak points are where the wall connects to the river, because the wall can kind of come out to the river, and they've just stopped it like at the banks, but all you would have to do is like wade in the river a little bit to get past it. But the like main section between river and mountain seems to be solid, and then the end where it like connects to the mountain is kind of not finished, and they're not sure how to really like seal off the ends of the walls. They can do the heart of it, but the ends, how do you? Yeah.
So they can't connect them to the mountains is the issue?
The mountains and the river, like they're not sure the appropriate, like how do you bring the wall out into the water? Do you have it just like hang over the water? Do you like put pylons in the water? How do you block off? How do you make it so that people can't just walk up the river to get around the wall?
I think the simple solution would be to stake the hell out of the water, right? Like we could drive deep stakes into the earth that create basically like a hedgehog effect, so that people would have to like crawl through sharpened stakes if they wanted to wade through the river, because they're gonna have reduced mobility if they're wading. That'd be the easier one. There's also like medieval building techniques for building bridges across water involve like draining out square sections of that water and then like building whatever you need to and then refilling it with water again. And if we have the time and the need, we could look into doing that. But like giving this a glance, does it seem like that much effort is really needed to like build into the water with this wall, or would the stakes probably do a good enough job of like deterring a wading approach?
You could stake it pretty easily. Yeah, the sections near you could find like bedrock and drive stakes into bedrock, or iron spikes or something like that into bedrock, and cement it on top or something. The stake approach would work very well here.
Yeah, we can just stake and fortify the river then.
And then the mountains sort of are foothilly, and then they can build a wall that kind of like goes up into the hills, but at some point you're going to want the wall to end. You don't want just like a wall going up and over the mountains. How would you like them to attach, what about that boundary of the wall?
So they don't want it to just go in. Okay, so they're worried like you could get around it by going into the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not so much just like sheer mountain edge. We'll put the wall against it, right? It's just it's just a ever increasing incline.
Okay. How would you build into a mountain, and what would you do to? I guess the part of the problem is no matter how high up you dig it, they can always eventually get around it by just climbing further and further up the mountain.
Or maybe finding a way around it. Of course, you can never like perfectly wall off a mountain, but at the point where at some point you need the wall to stop, what do you put just like a guard post at the end? Do you push the wall all the way? Like, do you make the further you go into the mountains, the more difficult it is to build, and the more time consuming and the more resource consuming it is to build the walls in the mountains. So do you go for like maximum effect, even with like diminishing returns on supplies? Or do you like end the wall at the most efficient point and then just observe beyond? It becomes like a question of return for investment of resources.
Yeah, I think in terms of the immediate effect of like building into the mountains, a better approach might be to just put like a watchtower a little ways up that's only manned by like 1 or 2 people, right? And we can set traps up along. So if somebody was trying to like walk along the mountainside, like far enough up that it'd be a pain to climb that high up, and if you tried to go along below that spot on the mountains, they could just like drop rolling rocks or throw burning pitch at you.
So we bring wall up to the mountain and then a watchtower beyond with an ability beyond,
to and then we might eventually need to like start looking through the mountains to find like a further on pass, because we might need to fortify those in the long run. But in the short term, a watchtower a little ways up that we can like barrage people below with if they try to walk around our wall is probably the way to go.
That's perfect. Is all that they need to know. Yeah, so you've got your spells. You have helped direct these people to finish the walls in the ways that they're going to need to. They'll take the rest of the spring to do it. And then you can go up and down the valley with Manfred, inspecting the various peoples, the flora, the fauna, the style, the makeup of all of these things. And that can be the rest of your spring. And we can end it here then.
I'm just going to try and think of a reason that I can drag the whole party into the deep part of the woods with me.
Yes. Well, you did hear about those restless spirits. The ogres do have their forms of, I don't know what you would call them, ritual investigation that they do. Their own version of Nyx, who lives in a cave nearby somewhere, probably. Yeah. Well, I guess we can leave it for the next session then.
All right.
Yeah. And that will wrap us up for today. We should be back next week with maybe Nyx, maybe what's Ryan's character's name? Izuul. We'll see. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do we want to get like the numbered XP out of the way so we know what the values are?
Yes. All right. Okay. So let's got this for that. You did that quest on your own. We also did some of this, and you get 10%, right?
Yes.
So why don't you add 1,870 experience to your pool?
All right. 1,000. Any fractions?
No, that is including the 10%.
Okay.
And that should level you, right?
Yes, I'm at 6592.6 now.
Perfect. And you have 16 hit points.
Yes. 16 HP, 6592.6 XP. Next level is at 10,000. All right, I should actually update my level on the sheet. All right, perfect.
Love it.
Was there something else? No, just XP. I don't update saves until level 5 or 6. So yeah, that's all there was.
All right. Well then, we are out for the day. We will be back next week with more Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Bye-bye, everybody.